Save
All
the
right,
chat.
All right, everybody, get the heck out of here.
This is demarcation point. So anybody wants to jump off, feel free. You don't have to feel guilty about leaving. You're not going to miss much because this is where we let our hair down. Well, especially like people like Scott Hampton. He really lets his hair down. But this is where we get to know each other a little bit. Some of the behind the scenes of who we really are, and sometimes gets a little rough, and sometimes it doesn't. So, but this is the time for you to, if you have questions that you felt bashful about asking during the main meeting, now's the time you can ask those questions. And one of us in here, there's got to be somebody amongst this collective that stays on that'll be able to answer them. And I'm just enjoying being able to be on. I missed y'all last week.
All right, Dane. I got a question. Why do you always wear a do-rag?
Because my head's cold.
Wait, he's about to let his hair down. It's after hours.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, that's the reason why, because my head's always cold. It keeps the dust from collection. It's easier to shake, take this off, shake it off when I go in, as opposed to trying to get it off the head,
Just
I
had
think
to
David
know.
wants to ask a question.
Yeah.
Who does?
Keeps muting himself though.
What the heck noise is that?
Now that's
Thank you,
David.
Rosemary. I appreciate it.
David, we can't understand you. You sound like a little chipmunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Sound like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Charlie Brown.
I was thinking of Alvin.
Dave, there's something wrong with your microphone.
Yeah, Dave,
I'm gonna go, guys.
whatever you're trying to ask, David, type it in the chat box instead. That's awesome.
Sorry, David. Yeah, type
Not
your
laughing at
question
you,
in
we're
the
laughing
chat.
with you.
Yeah.
Put it in the chat, David. Or unplug your mic and plug it back in. Now we got Donald Duck.
Yeah, can we get Mickey Mouse next?
Right?
Oh boy.
Sorry. It's just funny sounding.
After hours, no admittance.
That's that same guy, though.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, he probably just tried to reboot himself.
Uh-oh, now we booted him out.
No, I'll let him in.
Did he make it back in? Yeah, okay.
Okay, do I sound better?
Oh,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah,
much better.
you sound like a normal person, David.
Okay, terrific. Okay. So when you guys are doing multi-camera setups, are you using OBS or using hardware? Or what type of
I would never have guessed this is what you were going to ask, man. I thought you were going to ask. We thought you were asking where the magic broom was.
No.
I use OBS.
I use VMS.
I use
VMix.
OBS.
And I use Prism.
I use OBS. Depends how much you want to spend. You could go and spend oodles if you really wanted.
Yeah, I like
OBS
OBS
is
because it's free.
OBS
and I'm
is
cheap.
free. Yep.
Okay, so are you just using like 3 USB cameras with OBS?
You can use as many as you
Yes.
want.
I currently am using 3, but I could use as many as I wanted.
I use 6, so that's
Whatever
me.
the limitation is for OBS.
OBS is almost unlimited, so
Yeah, so
Right.
I don't know how many cameras you need. But
Well, I figured 3 or 4 would be okay.
Yeah, 3. That's good.
And then just
I use. You've seen my demos. I use 3 cameras, and one of them is pointing at me, and I never use that during the demo except to say hi.
Okay.
So
are you looking at doing a demo, David?
Well, I'm going to be doing. Yeah, Mark knows. I'm going to be teaching some classes here in Atlanta, and I was thinking about doing like a television in the center, and then doing multiple cameras so that even though they can't I don't want people physically in front of the lathe while I'm turning. And I figured by having the cameras, they can see multiple angles of what I'm doing.
Right.
Yep.
Well, you know what you can do? You get your camera set up, and then we can do some test demos here with the group. When you got a demo for the club there.
Well, it's not the club. It's actually going to be intro to wood turning classes at a center it's called the Sproul Art Center. I'm not trying to plug them or anything.
So
But
Oh, that's fine. It's after hours. It's all good.
yeah,
are you going to be using a camera switcher or a TV for each camera?
I was thinking I would do like multiple squares on the screen with one large television.
David, can I jump in there? There's nothing more annoying than having too many pictures on a screen when you're trying to watch.
Yeah, they get too small,
right.
and it's very difficult to see the details when you
Even
do
if
that.
it's local.
Let's let Martin talk.
Scott's got 6 cameras, but he only
Yeah.
has 6 cameras and one showing at any one time. He sees himself in the other 5 because he likes himself that much.
Okay.
So he only has one camera on display. Sometimes he has 2 because he likes us to see him as well as him seeing us.
Okay, so keep it to one camera at a time.
Yeah, there's nothing
Max.
more.
Yeah,
annoying than
sometimes I'll have one main frame, and then I'll have another view in the upper left-hand corner that's significantly smaller. And I've found with my YouTube videos, my audience has been complaining about that taking up too much. It's too distracting. So I'm stopping that altogether. I'm going back to one
the
view
most
at a time.
I've done is that an actual just a split screen of 2 cameras. You know, they fill half the screen each.
Yeah,
But that's the most I'll do, because it depends on what I'm turning. Sometimes I want 2 different angles so people can see what I'm doing.
Is there
at the same time.
is there a particular mixer that's not super expensive that you guys recommend?
OBS free.
I'm just using OBS.
Yeah, you use
Okay,
Yeah,
OBS.
OBS is free.
Yeah.
OBS is free.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
just, what you do is
No admittance.
You-
I
No
use
admittance.
you know,
so I use Prism, and then I've just got a switcher just like
oh
this.
yeah, a little
Just-
Elgato.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little
just a
stream deck.
just a stream deck, and you can it's just
All right.
simple.
Oh,
You just-
okay.
You just flip through the cameras, very easy. Just
Right.
That's a lot easier if you're the one doing the switching, because you can put that right on, using a magnet. You can attach that right to your lathe,
right.
and you
That's
can
called
just reach
Stream
over and
Deck?
push the buttons.
Right.
That's what I do, because
And
I
the
have a
Stream Deck
larger
works with OBS.
Elgato. It's got 15 buttons on it, not 6. But it's because if you're switching things in OBS without a camera switcher, you have to go to that software and get your mouse and click on what scene you want to change the cameras.
Or
each
use
camera is a different
keyboard
scene.
Or you can
In
use your
OBS,
keyboard and
you can
set up hotkeys.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
set up hotkeys
There you go.
too on your keyboard.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
and
you don't
then
I
have
the
to
use-
Stream
mouse
Deck
it.
will allow you to use the hotkeys.
I have a remote, a mini keyboard. It's a little remote. It's about this big. Y'all can't see me. Let me. It's down on my shop, so I don't have it here. But I got a little mini keyboard. It's like this, and it's wireless. And I've got 4 small magnets on the back, and I stick that one to my lathe, and I can use that to hotkey to wherever I want to go, whichever camera I want, or I can hotkey through a PowerPoint presentation, because if I've got one of those up on my inputs, and that works really well for me.
Yep.
Because it's hard to reach my keyboard.
The main thing, David, is that you've got a computer that can handle all the the cameras as well, and the software.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
that's a big problem that some people have, is that they have all the cameras and they have the switches and all that, and they're all ready to go, and then
And then they have
They
an
get-
Atom processor.
everything is just slow and chattery, and you know, it's just horrible to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got an i5 that's got like 8 gig of memory, and it's at its top limit. It's limited out. If I get anything tries to load on my computer, it hangs everything. So
Yeah.
get a bigger machine than I have.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's an i7 with 12 gigs, and it's fairly well maxed out as well. I've had to turn
Yeah,
my
learning
I've had to
curve.
set my bit rate down in OBS in order for us. I figured out what was causing my lag in my demos, guys. My bit rate was set too high, so I set my bit rate down, and I think I've straightened that out.
Like
Not to mention the fact that I was
1024?
having network issues. I think I've gone down to as low as 1800. But
Another thing,
I've got an old PC, so
yeah, you have to have enough USB ports to plug all your cameras into also. On your
yeah,
computer.
a USB adapter helps.
And a powered USB hub, not just a
Yes.
regular one. I would imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep, and you can
Yeah,
like
I've got a powered
if
hub.
you're using a hub, you can't have like you can have a USB 3.0 and a USB 2.0 camera into the hub, but you can't have two USB 2.0 cameras into the hub.
Yeah, I found that out too.
Yep. So you got to have plan for a bus USB port for each of your cameras if they're all USB 2.0.
Like those.
A hub. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I mean, I've got one hub, but I piggyback several other things in that hub. But each of my cameras is on its own bus hub.
Yeah,
or
it works
bus
better
USB
that
port.
way. It does.
Yeah.
It works better that way.
Wow, Captain Eddie is quick at sending them stickers. Look, that was one.
Oh wow,
Look at that.
that's
Yeah.
cool, Steve. Good job,
That's magic, is what that is. I know our postal service doesn't work like that.
buddy.
Thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate your help.
Yep.
OBS is good. It's free, but it has a learning curve because it's free.
Well, I tell you, Prism is click and play. It's so easy. You just add your camera, add your mic, and away you go. And that's what I'm using tonight. And it's not missed a beat. So
Do you have to pay for Prism?
no, it's completely free. And the good thing is you can do the whole multi-stream as well. So you just literally just dump whatever app you're using, TikTok, YouTube, Zoom, whatever, and it will multi-stream automatically to all those platforms if you want it to.
Is
Great
that
job,
Prism
Steve.
Is that Prism Analytics? Is that the company?
OBS will do it.
It's let me see.
Yeah, but the thing I
So
like
it's just
about
it's
OBS
just
is
called
it's
Prism Live Studio. That's all it is. So you just download it and yeah.
the thing I like
Cool.
about OBS is it's open source, so people are always making improvements.
Yeah.
The mini Stream Deck, the little 6-button Stream Deck,
Yeah.
they've come down a lot in price. They're only $59.99.
Well, it used to be over 100.
I know.
Yeah. Hundreds.
Wow.
Mine was free because I went into the computer shop to get one of those USB banks, and I was talking to the guy, and I was talking to him and asking him about the Stream Deck and if they're any good, and he said, actually, hold on a second, wait there a second, and he disappeared and he came back out. He said, here, put that in your pocket. He said, yeah, it has no box. It's been floating around out the back there for months and months, and it just keeps getting moved from shelf to shelf, and we can't sell it because it has no box. He said, put it in your pocket and run. So I
Sweet. I don't blame you.
Hey, can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. My truck stereo picked up and I had to reconnect. So, all right. Alles klar. Ganz gut. Any other life problems we can solve for anyone? Dan, you got any life problems we can solve?
And Dan's always got problems. Where is he?
I know, right? No. Mercy. No. Remove.
He's still on?
Yeah, he's on.
Dan Smith.
Yeah, Dan Smith or iPad 2.
Oh, there he is. He's not paying attention to us. That's why.
You didn't fall out of your chair, did you, Daniel?
He's muted. He's waving stuff at the screen.
Oh, I think he's eating dinner.
Oh, okay.
It looks like he's got a spring roll in it. Oh, he's got a piece of wood in his hand.
What about Gary? Hey,
A wooden
Gary,
There he is.
spring roll.
Gary, you doing all right? Oh, there's Dan.
Yeah, I'm doing
Talk to
good.
us, Dan.
This Ray, I've been making these up because I bought some of them F clamps from Harbor Freight, and the handles keep breaking on them.
That's why they're called F clamps.
Yeah.
Right?
So I had
You know what
some.
you know what they're short for, right?
I just made up a bunch of these little handles and put furrows on them. And I'm just gonna drill a furrow and put a
Promises, Scott Hampton.
pin in it.
Sounds
So
great.
That'll work.
Because the clamps are basically pretty good. It's just the handles on them, and I've run across a bunch of different ones that people gave away because the handles broke. So
The problem I'm having with mine is they're just too damn small.
yeah, well, I found out you just can't have enough clamps.
No such thing. Right.
Can't have enough good clamps either.
Yep. And I went to pipe clamps, and I can put on as much pressure as I want, and I built a little stand for them. Well, and it holds pressure down so they all, they don't
Right.
go kittywampus and stuff.
Well,
And
too much pressure though, you'll starve the glue joints. You don't want to do that.
right.
Don't ask me
Yeah.
how I know.
Yeah, right.
So, and my planer,
That is easy cure for that is not to do so many.
Okay, guys, I'm going to drop out. I'll say good night to you or good morning to you.
Good night, Steve. Great
All right,
demo,
sounds
buddy.
good, Steve. Thank you, buddy.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks, Alan.
Steve.
We'll
Good
see
night.
you. Good night.
Good demo.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good demo. But I made a bunch of these up. So, in fact, I made a bunch of extra ones up because I had cut two little furrows.
How you gonna put them on?
I'm just gonna drill it out to the size of the little size under the stem hanging down.
Yeah.
I'll show
Why didn't
you.
you drill them? Why didn't you drill them before you turned it?
Well, because too hard to line them up. I can run it up in there as far as I want, then drill it, and then put I'm gonna epoxy it and put a pin in it.
Yeah. I bet if you drill it, then turn it, it'd work marvelously for you.
Well, he can still chuck it up and drill it.
Yeah. Well, it looks like there's a taper on it. That's all I'm saying.
Oh no.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at it sideways. My bad.
They're straight across.
If I was to do it, I would drill it first and then turn it.
Me too.
Yep.
Treat it just like a tool handle. Making a tool handle.
If it needs a hole in at the end, it needs a hole in before it starts.
Right.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna drill the holes all in it here.
Yeah.
And then tap epoxy
Right.
it on, then just drill into it.
Are you going to drill it on your lathe?
No, drill press.
Yeah. So what's going to happen is you're going to try and drill it straight on your drill press, and it's going to be off.
I've got something that'll hold it great.
So all I'm saying is just like a tool handle. If you drill it first and then you chuck it up with your live cone center in that hole, and then turn your handle, that hole is going to be dead center. When you drill it on your drill press, after you've already turned it, it's not going to be dead center.
Oh,
it's going
this
to
hole? This
right.
hole? Yeah, that'll be done on the lathe. This one.
Okay. So you're going to chuck it up and drill it.
Yeah. And then the one for putting it onto the clamp, I'm just.
Yeah, then you'll do it on your drill press. Yeah. Right.
And use one of them, I forget what they're called, but they're, tap.
Dan, before you epoxy that one on, make yourself another one, drill your hole, and turn it, and see which one is straighter. let me and Martin know next week. Right? Yeah. Take that challenge.
No. I'm turning all these on the lathe, putting that hole in again.
Okay.
And I've got a.
So that's not turned yet.
No.
Okay.
The only thing to see, they're all different sized, because I got some clamps that are bigger, and I want a bigger handle to turn.
Yeah. Right.
And stuff.
You want to get that swell in there. So that one in your left hand, just throw it away because it's too small. By the time you drill your hole and you turn that, it's not gonna be big enough to make a swell for your big mitt. Trust me. Am I not wrong, guys? Martin, back me up.
I am totally backing you up, Dane. Just Daniel is not. It seems to be going over his head.
Yeah, it probably is.
He'll dream about it tonight. Oh, that's what he was talking about.
Yeah. I always say, Daniel, if something needs a hole in, you are easier drilling a hole into it square, into the center. You can hold it square, you can drill it square, you can turn it square. But ultimately, it needs the hole put in it before it goes on the lathe. If it needs a hole when it comes off the lathe, it needs a hole before it goes on the lathe.
Yep.
Especially if the hole is center. I even drill the sides of my peg holes for my clocks square.
Yep.
Because it is a lot easier to drill. How do I explain this? With that you're talking about there, you're drilling into the end
coplanar.
Yeah, you're drilling into the end grain of a square blank, for example. Yes?
Yeah.
Right. Well, if you imagine my clocks, when they start out, they are a square blank. They need a hole in the end grain, and they need a hole in the side grain to be able to put a peg in to then hold the outside of the clock. So I drill both of them holes before they even go on the lathe.
Yep.
Because I can get dead center of a square piece of wood easier than I can get dead center of a round piece of wood in the side grain.
Yep. Regardless if you got a V block or not that you're going to go over and put it on the drill press, that hole that you're going to go across the end grain is not going to be centered.
No.
Well, it don't matter if that's centered or not. That's just.
What are we? Dan, come on now. You got the ability to do it right. Do it right. Don't half-ass it.
We've now hit the nail on the head, Dane, in the fact that it doesn't actually matter. So,
well, It's all that lead in that water up there in Michigan.
Yeah. I'm south of Flint.
Did you miss my one-liners, Joaquin?
No.
Did you say no?
I didn't miss it. No.
Hey, Dane, this is Mark. Can I
Hey,
get
Mark.
in a word?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
I just, since this is not on the regular broadcast, if anybody's interested, I'm liquidating 3 warehouses full of wood. I'm liquidating all of my stuff that I have, like pepper mill mechanisms and, stuff like that. I've had for years wholesale accounts with all these. They're the same one you buy at Woodcraft and Rockler and all that. But anyway, I've got all kinds of stuff, and I ship stuff out usually in the boxes. So
Right.
if you guys need anything, I've got all that. I sell a lot of glue. I always have about every 3 weeks. I get a fresh supply in. So all that type of stuff. If you need it, just give me.
Okay.
Because,
Are you going to keep doing the perfects?
yeah, but
Okay.
I'm now getting back into my every day. It's been 8 months, with this
Right.
damn stroke stuff. So now I'm being, I'm being able to turn pretty good. And, I sent you a picture of the last
Yes.
urn I did. But that urn's gone. I don't know how to get a picture onto this show to show people. But anyway,
I'll send it to Joaquin so it gets into the newsletter.
oh, okay, because that's a pretty
Yep.
special piece of wood.
Yeah, it was. It was a spectacular piece. Yeah, I talked about it at the beginning of the program before you were on about Safety Sue talked about talking with you, and then when she was done, I talked about the urn that you had done, and that you and I had chatted last week about it. So yeah, outstanding piece, and I will get that forwarded to JJ for inclusion in the newsletter.
But I'm getting back at about 90 to 95% where I was. And by the way, Dane, in the future, if you need demonstration,
Okay.
I'll be happy to get in a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. In fact, I was aiming to give you a call when I got back towards the end of next week. But I'd like for you to do the bowl tool presentation on cutting bowls the proper way with the slicing techniques that you do for side grain and end grain. If you could do that.
Right.
Hey, Mark,
Yeah.
I'd be willing to help you with a video if you'd like. If you want to, I'd be glad to come over and help you with that if you want to do the turning part.
Is this Dave or Casey?
David.
David
Oh,
Liss.
okay. Yeah, that'd be great, David.
But I'm just letting you know I'm back
Okay.
in now and I'm available.
Right.
And I'm going to limit myself to 1 or 2 students at a time.
Right.
But,
You still got that young girl working with you?
no, she was doing something in the movies, I guess now. But who knows, but Katie Navarro still comes over, and Christine Smith was just here. Cliff Lounsbury rolled through last Wednesday. He's up in Tawas City, Michigan, and he's graduated from the big Burls. I don't know. Look him up, guys, if you want to see some crazy stuff. Look up River Turnings, Cliff Lounsbury, Lounsbury. And now his new thing is he's now turning large pieces out of car paint. He's getting the
Oh, wow.
over,
Florida, I don't.
he's getting the over sprays from Detroit, and he's turned all kinds of vases and things out of that. But he's the one that he did that. He put a 4,400-pound burl on his lathe, and he turned that piece for Neiman Marcus. He got 100,000 for commission.
Wow.
It has 5 layers of vines on it. But he
What's it-
bought his lathe was a 60-foot ship propeller shaft lathe, and he had to cut it down. He bought that down in New Orleans, had to cut it down and get it all the way up to Dallas City, Michigan, and put it in the shop. But he turned to very exotic river turn.
River turnings. Okay.
Andre, he's pretty famous. But
Wow.
yeah, if you want to, I mean, there's so many people out here that are
Right.
so good. And almost all these people have stayed at my house and, wanted to pick my brain in my shop and all that. And I can't drive still, but someday I'll get.
Yeah.
It's
Well, that's
good.
good.
It's good to see you still well, Mark.
And if anybody needs anything, I can pick up a telephone. A lot of people know who I am, and I have a lot of resources available. If anybody
Good to
needs,
know still.
You're a good man, Mark.
well, and
Yes,
I
he
want
is.
to make sure that what I have, I give away to people who are interested in learning and interested in becoming very fine tool technicians, right? Because someday I'm not going to be here. I
Right.
mean, this year I had 5 stroke incidents, and so it could happen tomorrow. I could be gone.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well,
Okay.
we'll
It can
keep
happen to any
we'll,
one of us. Yeah.
we'll keep our fingers crossed,
Crazy.
Mark, that you will still be here.
Right.
Well, I hope so. And I'll tell you what, one of the best things that ever happened to me while I was on the face of the earth is I got involved with wood, and all the people that are wood turners, all these years, 20 years, I've only met 2 people who I would never invite back to my house. And they were just negative, prejudicial people. But other than that, the best thing I learned was up at John C. Campbell. If you can try it,
Right.
and people support you to try it. And I've got all kinds of stuff here, and I keep a good fresh, all that perfect stuff, everything you need.
Yep. Amen. Like I said, I showed up, which I sent you the pictures of as well, Mark. But,
Yeah,
for those that are still on here, that piece of ambrosia, that spalted ambrosia maple,
yeah,
that hollow form that I did and showed
yeah.
a couple weeks ago, that piece of wood came from Mr. Sillay there. He's got
Oh,
quality stuff.
yeah. And I've got lots of little, if people are interested, when I harvest a tree, right, even if it's 2 inches, right, I harvest all those little burls. They make gorgeous bottle stoppers and little boxes and stuff like that. I've got hundreds of little burls. And now I started selling last year out of my warehouses, and almost all my big burls are gone. Almost all my box elk are gone, and almost all of my um, great big pieces are gone. But if somebody needs something, all I got to do is pick up a phone I got sources all over the place.
How are you stocked on Blackwood African?
Well, I've got tons of I've probably got, I don't know, maybe 500 or 600 of the clarinet bells. I've got all kinds of up to 3-inch bells, right? And I've got a lot of Boone ebony.
Yep.
You know, I got
folks.
tons of that.
All they got to
mean,
do is call you, Mark. You got. I know you've got. You can go on and on and on about everything that you've got.
yeah, but I'll guarantee you one thing: you will never buy it cheaper.
Nope.
I
Nope.
mean,
That's a fact.
like those violin pegs. I've got hundreds and hundreds, but if you go on eBay and try to buy them, they want $9 a piece for them. Well, most of these, you know, I charge $3 a piece. You know,
Wow. Right.
you know, when you go to these stores, buy peppermill mechanisms, stuff like that. You know, for the big ones, they want $15 for them. I just sent 20 down to Frank Johansson down in Sarasota. You know, I just charged him $11 a piece. He saved $100 on 20 of them.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
things
that's
like
awesome.
so. And I've got all kinds. I've probably got 800,000 pen blanks. I've probably got 1.5 million copper blanks. But these are all ambrosia maple, box elder, burl, everything. But it's quality stuff.
Yeah.
You know, any type of project, if you want any type of bell, I've got every size billet there is almost. And it's all just super quality, vaulted, bird's eye, fiddleback, you know, tiger, I mean, anything.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm getting rid of it all because what I need in the future, I can buy.
Yeah. Plus, you'll
And
keep the good stuff for yourself.
and you know, you want to know something?
What's that?
All good stuff.
If they
All
want
good stuff. I know.
if they want something, you know that urn that I sent you the picture of?
Yeah.
I gave that away.
Wow. What a gem.
Right.
Salt of the earth, Mr. Sillay. You are a salt of the earth. You're a good man.
Well, I want people to be able to utilize it instead of having my wife, if I pass away, I have to dispose of all this stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And what they'll do, they'll put it in a dumpster and dump it. Some of that wood I've had for 15 years, and,
Yeah.
you know, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. It's good forethought on, trying to plan that out, downsize and everything. So.
Very sensible way. I say that to a lot of the English guys over here. We collect and we collect and we collect. And one day, we don't need to collect anymore. Somebody else needs to get rid of it all.
Yeah.
And you know,
the kids have to get rid of it all.
that's right. And all this wood that I've got over there, well, 95% of it has all been cut on a bandsaw. It's in usable form, all sealed, so it's not cracked or anything. And what I do is I can send in a flat rate box 70 pounds of wood to Hawaii or Maine or Virgin Islands, all for $19. You can't do that. UPS. So I use that flat rate system, and I stuff these boxes full of any type of wood you want, and I will guarantee it. Be nothing you can buy or anything like that. Anyway, but I can't say that when we're on because we can't advertise.
Right.
No,
I appreciate that, Mark.
I stay pretty quiet most of the time during the meeting. And here's another thing I'll offer all of you guys. if you need with something, right, you can call, and I will put my iPhone over the lathe and I can show you any special technique or anything, and it won't cost you a nickel.
Yep. That's a fact. And I've known about that for almost 4 years now.
Yep,
That's a
so
fact.
anyway, the times that I'm not asleep, I enjoy meeting. And
I know.
I'm so happy. Guess what? I can actually get out and use my hand to hold a tool and turn some.
Yes. Yes. I was so happy for you last week when you sent me the pictures of the urn and then telling me about how you were able to get back out there and
Yeah.
turn for extended time. That just made me feel so good.
Well, let me tell you what, when you're turning on the lathe, the real world disappears. I
Yes,
don't
it
think
does.
about any pain, any pressure, I'm just happy.
Yep.
Man.
Anyway, guys, I've learned something from all of you guys. And anytime I see something I think I can contribute in some way, give some more information, I'll try to do it. So thank you very much for all of you.
Well,
Thank
we're
you.
glad of it.
Learned
Mark.
a lot from you.
Thank you, Mark.
We're glad of the information, Mark.
Well,
Indeed.
thank you all. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off and
Okay.
get some sleep.
All right, Mark. So
And,
starting next week, if I'm on next week, or at least the following week, I'm going to go back to my wake up jokes on you.
Okay. Here's another thing that I will do. Instead of doing a great long demo, I can solve individual problems with 10 and 15 minute
Right.
video.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. Maybe I'll start, in the coming. I'll get something formulated here, and get the group to solicit, to put forth questions that they're having issues with, and then we're going to do the Mark Sillay segment for 15-20 minutes to solve your turning issue. That sounds like a good thing to do.
Another real good demo is teaching people how to do the tenonless turning, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
the tenonless joinery, so that you never have to make a tenon again to join things, right? On all
Right.
your, like I can make 100 finials and interchange them on all my different ornaments and things like that. You never have to measure them. They're all interchangeable and there's no gaps. So,
Okay.
and that's a real good one.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it is. Yeah, we'll talk. And get maybe you know what? Maybe we can do like a turning corner with Mark Sillay. Here's 15-20 minutes of Mark showing
yeah,
a gee whiz how to do something real quick. I think that would go over really well.
yeah,
I know it would for me.
the biggest thing that I noticed now for 22 years, I was out on the road to over 850 club demos and all that. And all these, thousands of people hands on. But the biggest thing that I noticed out of all the wood turners,
That
there's very few wood turners out here that can actually slice beads, coves, flats, discs, and points. And I see people using lots of different tools, right? And you can do 90% of all your turning with about 3 tools. And then you make specialty tools to do specialty jobs. And this is where they just they want to move the tools with their hands, right? All you do is wood turners are nothing more but real holders and guiders of a tool. And if you can't push a gouge with two fingers, one on either side of the tool, then you'll never hardly ever make a finishing cut. You know, it's just they all want to men grew up using their hands and pushing hand, and it's the opposite with a tool, with a lathe. You got a motor that provides all the energy. All you do is stand there and hold the tool, and the tool does all the work. If you know to just hold the tool and let it feed itself through the wood.
So true.
And they violate the east-west rule constantly. And another
Yes.
thing they do is they hold a tool so that the wood spins into the tool. And you know, wood cannot come into a wood turning tool. That's always a scrape. The blade must always be in line with the rotation. And that will always, the tool will then slice the wood for you, and you won't have to. But anyway,
Right.
those are just my little clues, you know.
It's been perfected.
And yeah, I spent 4 years in a basement teaching myself how to do this. And I've made a lot of money teaching people at it. And but anyway, I'll get off my horse. I'm just a lonely,
No worries.
lonely old 81-year-old.
Mark,
It's always a pleasure, Mark.
What?
Mark, I just want to defend some of them because some of the wood turners out there, they know we only use 3 tools. They just need to have 50 more to keep them company.
Oh, I see.
It's a wood turner thing.
Collective.
I'm enormously guilty of that.
They have to keep each other warm.
But how many do you actually use during a normal day?
How many do I use? 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rough and
And
gouge and my skill.
Another thing I see these guys, they got these monster tools. I don't use any wood turning tool other than a spindle roughing gouge that's 3/4. I don't have any tools that are more than 3/8 of an inch on the biggest things I do. And I do huge chandeliers because most of the guys, they can't control a huge tool.
Yeah.
Yep. So my excuse is my extra tools, they're all emotional support tools.
Oh,
I've got to get going, but it was such a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much.
well, I'm
All
sorry.
right, you're welcome.
Good
Good night now.
All right. Good night, everybody. All right.
Good night,
bye-bye.
Mark. Thank you,
For the
sir.
tool
Yeah.
and how you use it. Night, Mark.
All right.
Right, Mark?
Good night, Mark.
Lord. Good stuff. Good stuff. Mark is the salt of the earth.
Definitely. I wouldn't like to be clearing out his warehouses and his shops.
Yeah.
I'd like to be there to do that because, man, the stuff I could find in there, you
Oh, I
unbelievable.
can imagine. I can imagine how much stuff's in there. I just, he's doing the best thing clearing it down.
Yeah, amount of work it's gonna take.
I would imagine. Well, I wasn't going to say, but I think that Paul Hannaby from the UK was going to buy all of it, but unfortunately the boat crashed. It hit some bridge or something over in America on the way to England, bringing Mark Sillay's stuff.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
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 Oh, That's all right. The penny did drop eventually. It must just be my English accent.
Yeah.
Come on, USA, pick up, catch up.
Keep up.